Welcome back to Champion News Talk Radio, brought to you by championnews.net, your choice for the conservative voice. This is Carol Parisi. Our founder, Jack Roser, and myself have Charles Butler with us. And before the break, we were talking about school shootings. And Jack, you have a theory on the school shootings and why the children go to public schools and shoot, and they're not shooting.
Well, Obama's made a national issue out of the citizens having guns, and he's blaming the possession of guns is causing people to shoot school children. The motivation for the going to the school and shooting kids is the gun. How wacko can you get? Listen, if the gun was the motivation, we'd get all kinds of shootings of the aldermen and the guys that raises your taxes. They'd be going down to Springfield. There's a lot more motivation from what those people are doing to us and our wallets and everything else. If the guns were the motivation, these shootings would be a hell of a lot more general, along with our crummy politicians that are abusing us. I'm not recommending we shoot them. We should get them out of office. But why would he think that the guns are going into the schools just as they can? The thing is, the guns are going back into the schools. Get that thing. They're going back. That's where the kids came from. This is a school where they were abused when they were a child. Why were they abused in the school? There's no shootings in a Catholic school, a Lutheran, private schools. They don't have any shooting. It's just in public schools.
And you know the other...
And it's because they're going back to the place where they were mistreated.
Right.
How are they mistreated?
Bullying.
Why?
Yeah.
Maybe they're a little deficient in the head. Maybe they're funny looking. Maybe they just weren't socially adept. They were just hazarded in the schools.
But there's several...
Let me finish this thing. They went back with a gun when they grew up to the place where they were humiliated. Why were they humiliated only in public schools? It's because in the public schools they don't teach either morals or arithmetic. As a businessman, I'll tell you about how few people can even do arithmetic. But there's no morals in the school. You couldn't act like that to isolate children in a school, in a Catholic school. I've gone to both public grade schools and one Catholic school. I'll tell you, you wouldn't get started. The nuns wouldn't allow you to exclude anybody in the class like that. There's no morals taught in those schools, no arithmetic either. And that's why the shootings are going on in those schools. It's the fault of our really crummy education system in this country. We run it the last in comparative tests of schools internationally. We're beat by South Korea and Australia and Russia, and all the other industrial countries are better than these schools that are doing these shootings.
And they don't cost people nearly as much. What were you going to say, Charles?
Well, there's something that all of these shootings have in common, in that these young men are from affluent homes. They're on very expensive psychiatric drugs. They have access to very expensive guns. They all have mental health issues, and no one wants to talk about that. That's what all these young men have had in common. And like Jack said, being socially inept. Those are the issues.
They went back to the place where they were humiliated.
Humiliated, no question.
They didn't get humiliated in front of the alderman, or they'd be shooting them. They would be shooting the tax assessor if it was just the gun.
But they're only 20, so they're not paying much taxes. The parents are paying all that.
Parents. But you know something, I'm going to say, there's been bullying forever. Kids, there's always
No, not in other schools. Not like Jack said, not in Catholic schools. Not in private schools. They don't allow bullying.
No.
You never had any boys in the playground?
Listen, I got bullied in the
snot
public.
out of each other.
I got bullied in public
Carol,
schools.
Not in private schools. They don't allow.
I got bullied. I got beat up going home one day. Another time, there's a group that I went to a very good high school, public one, that was unusual. Was Oak Park High, and even there was some bullying went on. But I know in home school, the guy in the row behind. That one of the guys was pestering me. I was a good student, and he goosed me with his T-square, and I got out of my chair and quietly went back. I grabbed his T-square and busted it over my knee, and I cut it into pieces. I thought I was signing my death warrant, it turned out to be entirely different. They left me alone after that.
See?
Because he had to.
But bullying goes on in public schools, and it has always gone on. And it's just, that is the problem. There's no discipline. And these teachers know who the bad apples. That's what I talked to the president of the union about. They know the children are bad apples. They don't want to segregate. Every student's important. No, every student's not important. No, we need to separate those.
We've got a society that wants to just not call wrong, wrong, bad, bad, evil, evil. Well, it is what it is, and we're working on it. I mean, just like the grades. You don't want to give somebody an A because you don't want the self-esteem of the person that's failing, that's not paying attention to do the work enough. See, we've become too soft in that.
No, some people have. And that's why this country is where it is in education.
Yes.
That's where we are. That's why our military is falling apart. And then, they want to dumb everything down to the feelings of your feminine side. So we need women in combat. We need...
As an ex-soldier, I can tell you that's not a good idea.
It's not a good idea.
You sleep together, you eat together, you shower.
They have prostitution
together.
rings on the carriers. Nobody's talking about that. Women.
You know what? We need men to be men, women to be women, and we also need to go to a break. So stay with us. We'll be right back.